Weather.
Major breaking news tonight. The District 9 battle is now back on after yet another twist you will only see right here on Channel 9.
In just the past 2 hours, Democratic candidate Dan McCready came here to our Channel 9 studios to officially take back his concession.
So as of today, I am withdrawing my concession to Mark Harris. And furthermore, I call on Mark Harris to tell the American people exactly what he knew and when he knew it.
This is certainly the biggest development today, but it is not the only one. In the past 24 hours, Channel 9 discovered a photograph that shows Mark Harris and McCrae Dowless in the same room a year before the election. Dowless is at the center of the investigation into absentee ballots in Bladen County. We've also expanded our presence in Robeson County following the trail of hundreds of other questionable ballots. And on top of all this, there are now calls for Governor Roy Cooper to create a task force that is dedicated to this investigation. Our own political reporter Joe Bruno just returned from Bladen County after bringing us a lot of this fraud to light. And Joe, you just sat down for that exclusive interview with Dan McCready.
A couple weeks ago, this was not on Dan McCready's radar. He was actually at Disney World with his family. He says he left everything on the field. That's why he was as shocked as anyone that the bipartisan State Board of Elections launched this investigation and declined to certify the results. Now, because of all the mounting evidence, in an exclusive interview, he tells me he is withdrawing his concession.
Over the last week, we have seen the criminal activity come to light, and we have seen that my opponent, Mark Harris, has bankrolled this criminal activity. And so as of today, I am withdrawing my concession to Mark Harris. And furthermore, I call on Mark Harris to tell the American people exactly what he knew and when he knew it.
McCready is calling on everyone who engaged in criminal activity to be prosecuted. He says this is no longer about him. He says it is about the people of North Carolina who have had their voices silenced and their votes taken. He even goes as far as to say Mark Harris had direct knowledge of what was happening. Do you think Mark Harris knew?
I think he did know. I don't see how you can hire criminals, receive daily reports on the numbers of absentee ballots that they're dealing with, and then go and recommend their services to other politicians and not know exactly what's going on.
He tells me he wants the state board to have a full and transparent investigation. If the board finds the election was tainted, he says there should be a new one.
And Joe, I know that you've been in contact, reaching out repeatedly to Mark Harris and his campaign, and so far still no word back?
We've been trying, but as of now, Mark Harris has not commented on this. We did just reach Dallas Woodhouse, the executive director of the state Republican Party, and he's standing by Harris.
There is no possible way that he knew about this potential illegal behavior. If there are people that worked for him that did, they would have had to hide it.
Woodhouse said Harris's good name is far more important to him than winning.
Of course, the bigger picture here, what are we looking at next? So many options.
So there is no timeline for when all of this has to wrap up, but I did learn the State Board of Elections is going to announce the date of the evidentiary hearing tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, look forward to that. Thank you, Joe. Well, Joe's been, of course, heavily focused and on the ground there in Bladen County for days, but now this investigation is expanding into Robeson County, and that's where anchor Paul Boyd joins us live tonight.
And Paul, you've been uncovering some stunning new information there.
Yeah, new details emerging today on the ground out here. The big question, how many of these 666 absentee ballots in Robeson County were collected illegally? How many other ballots were collected but never turned in? These are the big questions out here in this county tonight. And today I tracked down a woman who is accused of being a prolific paid ballot harvester for the Mark Harris campaign. But were you out collecting absentee ballots?
I assisted people with what they needed.
But you weren't related to them, so you weren't supposed to take them away.
I'm not going to say I did or I didn't. No comment.
Jennifer Boyd told me she was simply helping people who didn't have time to go to the polls in Robeson County, but we found Jennifer's signature on 55 absentee ballots, and she admits to helping fill out 52 of those ballots herself. Look at her signature over and over again in the voter assistance box. I asked if she was hired by McCrae Dowless, the man at the center of the election fraud allegations in nearby Bladen County.
So were you working with McCrae Dowless?
No comment.
But evidence we uncovered show a definitive connection to McCrae Dowless. Look at these absentee ballots. The signature next to Jennifer's dozens of times says Lisa Britt. She's also accused of illegally collecting ballots back in Bladen County.
Was Lisa Britt with you at every house you went to?
My investigation talking to voters on the ground today revealed that Lisa Britt was not present like her witness signature requires when many of those ballots were filled out. She supposedly signed 27 ballots as a witness.
Was Lisa here too that day?
No.
No.
Just Jennifer.
I don't know no Lisa.
No, we don't know
And I
no
told
Lisa.
you I'm not talking
If
to
true,
nobody.
that would be a Class 1 felony, a new layer to the election fraud investigation. These voters who asked not to be named told me the State Bureau of Investigations knocked on their door yesterday asking questions about who collected their ballots. They were encouraged not to comment any further.
And I was told I do not have to speak
Yeah, we
to
don't.
And we asked the SBI, and they would not confirm they are officially on the ground here. But, of course, we do know that investigators with the Board of Elections are, of course, asking questions throughout this area. We'll have more coming up for you, of course, at 7 o'clock. For now, we're reporting live from Robeson County. Paul Boyd, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Paul. And there is so much more to dig into on this investigation. So, again, in a 1-hour special airing tonight at 7 right here on Channel 9, we're laying out all of our findings.